What's up everybody? Welcome back to part 3. Another installment on the Laurel. Gonna be cracking on with the exhaust in this video and probably just doing little bits and pieces in between. But as promised on the last video, I was going to show you the catch can all done. I lied. It's probably 99% done. Here's how it turned out. I got it mounted, yada yada. Now I've got these holes in the top here. So what's going to happen with this is there's going to be a piece of foam that gets sandwiched over top of it, and then we've got an idea for a plate that goes over top with a with a cutout, so I can breathe through the cutouts. So that's going to work. I also put a tap in there because I welded a fitting on the bottom. Just put a hole in there. It's got a 45 degree and fitting just straight off the bottom there, angled that way. I'll just put a hose on it, and I got a little tap, so I'll just get a little tap like that. So I'll just get a 8th BSP to hose tail fitting, screws into there, hose on the other end of that, and yeah, we'll just strap that to the side there. So if you want to check it yourself and empty it, just crack the tap, good to go, nice and easy, serviceable. But yeah, do the exhaust. I already started on this section of it. I just got because the what do you call it, the reducer thing turned up, but I need to cut it at the where it stops there on that line there, because I put it there just for the sake of it, and it gets too close to the rocker cover. You won't be able to get the rocker cover bolt there and the rocker cover off with the exhaust bolted on, so not good for servicing stuff. So I'll trim that back so it fits a bit better, and probably just tack that up and then tack a 90 on and just see how it all fits and see what sort of clearance we've got and what needs to happen. So yeah, also got the power steering, electric power steering. I'm going to mount it there. So what I'm going to do as well for this, probably midway through this video or something, is I'm going to trim that bracket down flat. I'm going to saw a hole through there, so then the pump body can sit through it, and then we'll just mount the plate to the inner guard there, and it can yeah, it should be good to go. All the lines will clear the pipe and shit, so cool. But yeah, anyway, I'll fucking get to doing this. I don't know what video is going to come out first, but I primed the S13 as well, so whether or not you guys will already know about it or you won't, depending on if I do a video on this or this one goes out first. So either way, doesn't really matter. Alright, so I trimmed that back and tacked it on there. I've just got it lightly sitting in the V-band so I can twist this, because what I've got is I've got this 90 here. It's going to go on this 45. I drew some marks on it before, just so I can go tack it on the bench. But I've just been twisting and positioning how that sits and how the 90 is going to angle, and I got it a decent amount away from. We're going to have some heat shields on the clutch and that anyway, but just try to keep it tucked as tight as possible away from them without actually, you know, the last runner on the manifold. I don't know if you're able to see that through the fucking camera here. Last runner on the manifold sort of hinders how far you can actually run this pipe back, as well as the wastegate hat there. Right, got that tacked on there. Just marked with double lines like that, so I knew where it went. And being like, you buy these bends, so they're like cut like really fucking true. I don't know what they're cut on, must be bandsaw or something, but they're nice and clean and line up square. So the only problem is there's a part here on the inside where it steps out. Must just be how it's bent or something, but I think if we push it in the vise a little bit and tack it in place, it'll be a nice, like, run your finger over and be nice and smooth. So let's put this on here. How's that looking? A little bit of clearance around there. Nice amount away from there. So we're going to run a heat shield probably there. I don't know if we're going to heat wrap this or not. Probably a good idea without, if you're not running pedal box with a JZ and a one of these chassis. So the bastard cylinder's quite a way away, but yes, I'll try to get that 45 down there on a good decent angle and see how that looks.
I'll give them a call.
Alright, so I'm under the car to position this other 45. If I turn it too far that way, our pipe's going to interfere with the steering shaft. So I think what I got to do is I got to go angle it just away from it a little bit. Probably put a bit of a straight in it, like 50mm straight pipe, and then get another 45 once it's down to this point, and then kick another 45 like onto that angle, and then I can do another one that'll end up being there ish, right there, and then we'll just have a bit of a, then we can have our flexi in it and our other V-band roughly here, and then we'll just kick the rest of the exhaust down. But yeah, I think I need, what was that? Because I got this one, so a bit of straight, which I've got. Oops, my fucking light is gone. 1, 2, 3 more 45s maybe to work with. That should help us. I would just buy 90s, but the 45s are already cut nicely, so I don't want to cut a 90 with a grinder and get it all crooked, so I'd rather just have nice cut 45s already. Alright, unforeseen circumstances, I didn't realise I'd need that many bins, so I'm going to have to get some more, but since it's now Saturday I can't get any till next week, so I'm going to do as much as I can on the wastegate as well. I've got to do a plumb back / screamer pipe, or removable plumb back setup, so I don't know if you can see in there. I'll get my phone light out. 98.8. That's better, isn't it, fam? Right, so the plan is I've already welded a 45 onto the flange. Not welded, just tacked it there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go like yay, kick it in just a little bit so it angles away. Why is it sticky? There we go. Kick it away just slightly from the chassis rail, and then when we go down here, I'm going to have a 90, probably about there. So I'm going to need a straight piece of pipe about yay long, which looks to be about 60mm to me, 50-60mm, and then we can angle a 90 straight down through through that gap there under the steering rack, so through that big hole there, and then we'll kick it up into the exhaust itself for a plumb back, and then we'll have a section in there like 100mm long that you can undo, take out, cap one end in the exhaust, and then just have, I'll make another little dumpy screamer that you put on the other end that can dump down. So that is the plan. We'll see how it goes. Alright, I've changed my mind of how I want this to go. Can you see that? Maybe? Hopefully that works out. If not, yeah. I decided I want to kick it like that way and then over that way. If I can hold it with one hand, sort of like kind of like that. You can see that, and then have it so it's kicked over that side of the steering shaft. Because I was going to go through there, but I remembered that the power steering lines come out of that side of the rack, and I just wanted to minimise like heat to lines, I suppose, power steering lines. So even though they probably wouldn't affect it, and they probably could make a heat shield, but it's probably just as easy just to run it tight up under the manifold where all the heat is anyway, and on the same side as the exhaust. That way I can just kick it with the exhaust and run it down into it. So I'll give this a tack together and see how it looks from underneath probably. Alright, I got that piece tacked down, whether or not you can see that very well from under here. Loops around the steering rack to that point. Let's get another 45 hopefully, and then I can angle it straight down to follow the follow down here, and then swing it under. So yeah, pull it back off and do that. Well, actually I won't pull it back off, I'll grab another 45 and just angle it up there and see how it looks. Alright, that's a 45 on there. It kicks off to the left hand a little bit. So what I might do is I might tack it on there, and then we'll reshape it so it's so we can put it straight right off from here. I might actually put the flexi here. I might angle that, put the flexi in, and then the V-band. So I'll just go flexi V-band, and then the V-band's tucked away from the like getting scraped and shit, so it's up a bit further, and it's still easy to access. And then we'll just do a little bend from like where the camera is right here up onto the other V-band. Sorry. So hopefully it works out. You probably can't see down there. I'm just having an audible, but yeah. This is it from the top at the moment, anyway. So down there, probably could have made it with less bends, but I wanted to try tuck it as close as to like the manifold and everything as possible, and keep it away from the steering shaft and the booster and the reservoirs here as much as possible. So that's why I've opted to go off a lot of bends to try get it to like really snake its way fucking hard up in there. So she's looking pretty good. Alright, this is why we test fit stuff. I've just pushed the bellow on the bottom here because I was going to put it on the dump pipe, but if you go to put it in, you actually can't get it down past the booster and the manifold. So what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to put the bellow on the other side of the V-band, so you can put it on from underneath instead. So this end's just going to be a bit of pipe and a flange. So yeah. Hello. I don't know how dark it is in here. I've trimmed the 45 here to a little bit of a shallower angle, and now it looks like it's aiming pretty straight. I've just oh, this is pretty shit. Sorry guys, sorry teams. There we go, it looks better, eh? I've just welded a piece of straight on the end of a V-band to put there to see how it looks. Looks like it's gonna work pretty well right there actually. Fuck, I'm good. Hopefully that's not too close to the chassis rail to get the clamp on, but I'll tack it on there and try it. I think we can turn it just a slight bit towards the gearbox anyway, if need be. But yeah, that looks good. Old fucking, is it from this angle? Nice. I will tack that on, see how it all looks without me holding it. Alright, I've got it tacked up. I had to adjust the bottom just a little bit to get it sitting a bit better. Just had to straighten up the angle there because it was a bit kinked and it made it look a bit funny. But yeah, got it all tacked up. I test fitted it just before, so I'm just going to go fully weld it now, and then make sure it still fits, I suppose. Stainless does expand a little bit when you heat it. You ever notice it when you if you have a stainless exhaust, it'll actually fucking like stretch slightly when it gets warm. So sometimes you can it'll look clear, like obstacles, and then you'll either weld it and it will expand and you fit it and it won't fit, or it'll fit and then you'll go for a test drive and get it hot and then bring it back and it will like rub on something on the body or something. So it's a bit of a prick sometimes, but surely I've got enough clearance on the dump pipe at least. Alright, I sorted myself out. I got the welder going again. I had a different tip and shit, so I got it good enough to be able to tack some more. Working on the plumb back at the moment. This is going to go on the bottom of the dump pipe, so then you can plumb the wastegate in. I have it removable, so you can obviously run it to atmosphere or plumb it in. So I've just sized this up. I pulled the dump pipe off and show you guys anyway what I'm going to do. I've marked it out already, so I've just got to pull it off and cut the hole where this is going to go, and I'll show you how it turns out. Yeah, so this is where it's going to go, right there. So I've marked it out around on the car, so I've got it angled where I want it to go. I'll just cut this out and I'll tack that in place, and I'll leave it tacked there, and I'll make the rest of it to make sure it all fits up, and then I'll weld it all. Ideally too, I was looking at it before, this wants to be like a little bit longer in this straight here, so I've got a little bit more room to work with for the pipe to recirculate. But I was worried that if I made this longer that it's going to be more of a hassle to like get it down in there, because at the moment you sort of have to when you put it in, you can't just drop it straight down. You sort of got to like snake it down, like start here and you sort of snake it in to get it to twist around everything, like screw it in kind of, just because of the shape of it. So I was worried that if I lengthen it, it's going to be even more of a hassle. So it's going to have to make it nice and tight, but I've got some good bends here, like they're quite short radius bends, so we can make it work. The pipe won't be so bad, it's just the clutter of the V-bands up in there that are going to maybe be a little bit of a hassle, but I'm sure I will work through it. Not a real pretty way of doing this, so I just cut it out as best as I could with a grinder. I'll just die grind the rest of it to shape so it looks tidy. You could probably ram a hole saw in there somehow, but that seems like it would be very blunty for a hole saw being stainless. You got me whole hold out, I guess you want to say. Fits in there pretty good. I did have a thought while I was looking at it before, is the flange is going to be pretty shit to try and weld if I have that tacked in there and it all fits up and then I forget about it. So I'm going to go weld the flange on first, so it's not so much of a prick to get the torch in there. Right, I got it tacked on there, just in place enough so I can wiggle it around a little bit when I'm under the car. Also thought it was a good idea to test that our V-band can still be put on and off and it's not too close to the pipe, because that would be a nice fuck up. Alright, I got it in place. This is how it turned out. So the screamer pipe slash other, what do you call it, pump back, gonna go in there, kick 90, and then we'll have it plumb into there. So yeah, hopefully I can get it all in that one spot there with another flange and flexi and yada yada, but looks pretty good, nice and tight as well. It was a little bit of a fucking fiddly operation to twist it down into place with this on here now, but it still goes in, which is good. That's what we want. Right, I got a bit of a 90 tacked onto another flange and dummied up there. So I'm gonna mark that 90 and probably trim it so it's maybe like a, not quite a 45. So then it follows the pipe up, or you know, that angle up there somewhat. And hopefully I can just have that short piece of there as two flanges and just remove that to plumb it in and plumb it out. So we'll see how we go. I'll mark it and give it a bit of trim. I got this tack. I'm hoping that this piece here, this little short piece, because the top of it here is going to have the flexi on it. So I'm hoping that once it's all together, if you undo both these clamps, you'll be able to just slide that out of there easy enough, because the flexi will give it enough like bend just to get it over the lip that it seals on. So give it a go. Alright, I got as much made on the car as possible. It's proving very difficult to get the return pipe lined up in place because I need to be able to work with it nicely. So I've pulled the whole setup off. I've locked the dump pipe in place and the lower return, so all I can turn is the top. I'll show you it anyway. I've got the whole manifold and stuff off. I've tied it in place so that is where it wants to be on the car. This is where it wants to be. This bottom one is where it wants to be. The only one I can turn is this one. But there's enough room here now because the steering rack comes through here. So this here clears the steering rack. If a pipe was to come straight off there, it clears the steering rack by a lot. So basically, I just have to get this here to go up into there. And that'll be sweet. And it can go back on, or be fully welded and then go back on. So yeah, now that it's off, it's a hell of a lot easier for me to just, I had this pipe made up and I was trying to get it done on the car and it was just a fucking nightmare. So, I pretty much made it so it's gonna go like that. But now that I can see it, it pretty much is gonna go in. It just needs like 3mm cut off the straight, and then it can just get a little bit extra straight, put up straight into it. So much easier to work on. Sweet. Alright everybody, I've got it all welded up and all put in place here. Plumb back in. You know, you can see that down there. Plumb back. I'll go in from underneath and show you how it's angled down here. So there's our the end of our dump pipe. There's our plumb back set up. By the looks of it, from what I've been playing with, is I'm about to just the owner, you better just take the V-band off there, loosen that one, and then that whole pipe should be able to just twist like 90 degrees and aim at the ground pretty much. So that might be all you need to plumb it back, but I might make a little extension for it anyway, just to be sure. Just a little bit of a bend and then maybe a longer pipe. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, turned out pretty good, decent clearance, a little tight to get it in there from the top. It's a little bit of a twist and turn act to get the pipe down there, but you can do it. Once you know how to do it, it'll be fucking easy peasy. You shouldn't have to do it anyway, you have to just put it in once and then that's about it. So yeah, that's it for that. I'll make the rest of the exhaust, but I don't have, I've got a little short length of 4-inch pipe there, but I'm going to put the car down. Wow. Yeah, I'll put the car down and measure some heights. The owner thinks he's going to raise the rear up a little bit, so I'm going to see what the clearance is like, to whether or not we run some oval 4-inch pipe, maybe just in the first section there where the clearance is quite iffy. Since it's a Nissan body, the exhaust should be on the other side, so the cutout in the floor is on the other side for the exhaust, so it might be a bit tight getting it there without it fucking catching your trailer or catching anything on the track or something like that. Track's still usually pretty good, but I mean if you come off, but you shouldn't be coming off the track, especially not when you got a Wastegate. So but yeah, in any case, I'll put it down and see what I decide. The oval pipe is quite a lot more expensive than just regular round pipe, so depending what I decide is what we're going to go with. Plus you can't get bends in oval pipe either, you kind of have to pie cut it. So yeah, I'll get it down and see. But anyway, that's going to be a little bit of a longer exercise as well, and I'm pretty sure this video is already gone for a fair amount of time, so I'm going to leave it at this point for now, and I will catch up with you guys when I either carry on with the exhaust, or I might do a couple of other little jobs on this. I really want to get the swirl pot sorted and maybe another container, like a expansion tank container put in here. So whether or not I do that, I want to mount the fans to the radiator. I want to make an alternator relocation for the other side. We've got a tow-made kit here, but it doesn't seem to really work too well, so I made a custom bracket for my motor, so I might try to do the same for this one. I'm just going to use the bracket to get the spacing and shit, so it's like way better than mine, because mine's a bit dodgy. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. Appreciate you guys watching the videos. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. I know you've already liked, and I know you've already subbed, because you love me, so. But yeah, I'll catch you next time. Peace out, guys.